Welcome to the Wed Pro Podcast, the show for wedding professionals and business owners.
Each month, we bring you top industry experts, business chat and hints and tips to grow your business.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Roxy.
Welcome to the Wed Pro Podcast. Welcome back to our next episode. We are still recording in lockdown, so we are remotely recording this episode, but we're joined with obviously Roxy.
Hello.
And today we're joined by James Garrett. You want to say hello, James?
Hello.
He's from, you've got two companies, haven't you? You're a wedding business owner as well, Wedding Reels, and you've also got another business, HNE Media. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do in your business, and then we can kind of get chatting all about our topic today, which is all about getting camera confident.
Brilliant. So I've been in the video industry for about 15 years now. So I filmed my first wedding in 2004, and I've probably filmed about 500 or 600 odd weddings over that period. Despite looking young, I've got lots of years on the clock for filming people's weddings, which is brilliant. So when I meet people at wedding fairs and they say, polite conversation, how long have you been doing it? Expect me to say like 2 years, and I go, about 15. They look at me like, so were you 15 when you started your
Were you a young boy?
Yeah, you have got a bit of a baby face, haven't you?
Yeah, so I get that a lot, but having a beard's helped me a bit, so that adds a few years on. So I do the wedding side of things, and then we make videos for companies. Obviously we're filming WedCon in November, assuming that happens in November, and then also teach businesses how to make videos as well. So in the normal world, I'm up and down the country sort of teaching teams of people in companies how to create video and stuff. So that's sort of my passion, really.
How have you found that kind of wedding video trends have changed? Obviously, like 15 years is a long time to be kind of doing this. How has kind of videography changed? Has there any been kind of different kind of trends come through? Or is it pretty much the same?
It's been amazing. That's a really good question. So when I started, it was kind of on the shoulder, Uncle Bob style video. Cameras were huge. Wedding videos were crap. Pardon the expression. They were awful. They looked like something that a family member could have made, and they had star swipe transitions, and they were just really naff. But over time, they've got better. And I always say to people at wedding fairs, you're in a golden age now for wedding video, because your wedding video is a cinematic film that wouldn't look out of place in the cinema, and anyone that's haggling around on Facebook for discounts, I think is completely missing the point of what a wedding film is now. If you want a 300 quid wedding film, you'll get 300 quid's worth of end products. It won't be very good. If you want a masterpiece that you're going to want to show your children and your grandchildren in 30 years and still look back and say, wow, that was our day, you've got to invest the money in that. So it's changed a lot. I mean, the technology's come along. We can now, I used to put tapes in manually into a computer. If I filmed 8 hours footage, it took 8 hours to put it in the computer. Now I put a card in and it's done in about 5. So things are quicker. The whole market's changed really for the better. There's a lot more competition now in the last year or two. Everyone thinks they're a wedding videographer, from photographers taking it on thinking it's easy and then probably realising it's actually really hard work, to people just jumping on a bandwagon that have bought a cheap camera. And to be honest, that has brought the market down a bit. But then people like me that have been doing it for so long, that do charge a bit more, haven't really been affected because we're not in the same ballpark.
You've not got the same audience. What was I going to ask?
I kind of really, really wished, the one thing from my own wedding is that I didn't have a videographer, which every time I get the wedding album out, I'm like, I wish you would have just, probably sacked off the photo booth and paid for someone to come and video the day, because you got like you say as well, nowadays it is more like a production film than it is kind of like, say, Uncle Bob with his camera recorder.
What's
on
that
his
film where
shoulder.
he's a? What is that film where he's a wedding? Is it a Jennifer Lopez film? Like, I'm going back like 20 years now, and the guy's the wedding video maker.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to
Good
look
on
this up.
films.
I'm gonna have to look this up and put it in the podcast notes. It's bugging me.
It's
That's all
the
I can
wedding.
think.
It's not The Wedding Singer, is it? Because that's a really good film. And
I
Wedding
don't-
Crashers.
It's going to be one of it's wedding something. I'm going to find it out afterwards. But he's filming the wedding, and she comes in at the end to tell him that she loves him.
Oh yes.
You know,
I can't-
don't you?
Yeah, I
I'm
know
gonna
the
think
film.
of it.
I can't think of the name. Can we put
People
it in the
listening are going to be
description
screaming it at the podcast.
YouTube
Yeah.
link, description below.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
pop
we
it.
will
We'll pop
do.
it in.
We
Might
will, but
be
yeah,
nice.
I really, really, really wish that I would have had that to look back on now, because, like you say,
I think you miss so much as well,
yeah, you do, don't you? Yeah,
and
I
having
think
that.
it's little things as well. It's like the speeches and things that the heartfelt bits. I think they're really important to get. I mean, over the years we've had sort of really sad stories where people have come to me and booked me because their friend had a videographer, and there was a miscommunication about what they were getting, and they only got a 3-minute highlight video, and they said, "Oh, I really want the speeches. My dad did a lovely speech," and the videographer said to the lady's friend, "Well, we didn't record that. We don't record that." So I always say to people, if any people are listening to this that are getting married and you are thinking of getting a video, make sure you know what you're getting, because if I don't press record during your ceremony and your speeches, because that's not part of what I do, you're not going to have that to watch back. But
And I suppose that speeches thing, really, like, once you've heard them, I mean, I can't remember any of the speeches at my wedding, but like you said, it's all that lovely stuff that on the day would have made you tear up and cry. Like, that is lovely to remember looking back. 100%. So today we're going to be chatting all about getting camera confident, and this is something that you must hear all the time. People say to us that it's probably the worst thing that they don't like to do in their business is to hop on camera or be seen to be visible inside of their business, and we are constantly we know that people kind of don't like to do it. Now, people assume, probably wrongly, that we're pros at going live, which we're not at all, or that we absolutely love hopping on live videos. I think, to be fair, I don't mind them. I think what I like about a Facebook live video is the quickness of it and the instantness of it. And for me, writing a blog would take me 2-3 hours, and I can get that done in 2 minutes on a Facebook Live, and probably have more audience interaction. So that's what I like about it. But obviously, a lot of people don't like hopping on camera, and this must be something that you find, James, even in your HNE Media role, like when you're going in to maybe do a production video, or maybe you do the Facebook cover videos as well, and that sort of thing, that people get really nervous about being seen in their business, don't they?
They do. I mean, it's really difficult. There's a huge amount of coaching as well. I mean, if we have to interview people in a company to make a promo video, you have to really spend time with some people because they're so nervous. So a big part of it is getting yourself relaxed, whether you're doing it on your own or you've got someone filming you. It's just trying to sort of, the minute people see a camera, they panic, don't they?
So for me, I can do a live video all day long. Put me in a situation like me and Katie have recorded courses in the past. Oh, my life. I literally go to pot. If I have to sit down and then record something that isn't live,
what do you think that is? Do you think it's that instant interaction with people that keeps the conversation going?
It must be, or it maybe is just that I overthink it a little bit more. Maybe it's a bit more planned, so therefore I've thought about it more, so therefore it stresses me more. But then a live video, like I say, it's quick, it's instant. We don't really think about it. We say, "Oh, should we do a live?" Hit the live button, off we go. Whereas a recorded course, probably, maybe it's the planning that my brain doesn't like.
I think a lot of people will relate to that though, and a lot of people will overthink that element of recording themselves or hopping on video or whatever. So what are the reasons, really, I think, what we should probably start by talking about is the reasons why people would kind of be recorded in their business, or what they might kind of show, whether that's behind the scenes or just introducing themselves and their passion for their business. But really probably just talk. People might be thinking, oh, you know, I'm 10 years into my business and I've never jumped on a Facebook Live before. Like, why do I need to be doing that? So probably we'll spend a couple of minutes talking about that, and then we'll kind of go into some tips, James, and chat through all of the ways to be able to kind of get over that mental block in your head, and some really good tips for appearing confident and also professional and polished on a video.
Brilliant. I mean, one of the things I really recommend, and I'd suggest to sort of anyone listening to this podcast, is try and get yourself to be seen as an expert, and using video is a really good way to do that. So it's basically called educational marketing is one of the terms, and I'm sort of a big fan of that, and I'd like to suggest people do that. So it's basically giving your expertise, your advice, helping people so that they see you as an expert in whatever it is that you do. So if you're a florist, it might be what flowers are in season, what looks good in a barn venue, what looks good in a church, what, you know, matching flowers to your wedding theme, stuff like that. So whatever your profession, whatever your business, whatever your job is, it's becoming the kind of the go-to expert. And it's not always about people buying from you straight away, but again, like with your kind of community that you've built, it's about helping people and just being there for them. And then if they do need your help and they want to pay you to help them with something, or they want to come on a course or attend an event, they're more likely to buy from you because they know you, they like you, and they trust you.
Yeah.
I think live video,
it's about,
I'm sure you'd agree, is really good for that, isn't it?
That nurturing element, isn't it? Like that nurturing and getting, like you just said there, getting people to know you, like you, and trust you. You picked up on something interesting there about that education side as well, about getting people to really think that you're the expert. But what we found video was really great for as well is that education element. And you touched on it a little bit earlier with what you said about people not knowing that that particular part of their wedding was going to be recorded. And in educating your audience, you can make it easier to convert a sale. So if you were to educate them, for example, people might not realize, like when they book a videographer, they might think that they've got them for all day. Or in terms of wedding dresses, that's our background, we owned a bridal boutique. People might not realize that they needed to budget extra for alterations and things like that. So in educating your audience, you're not only helping them to kind of plan for their wedding better, but you're also helping yourself, because it already gets them thinking about the things that they need to budget for their wedding, or think about your product. It definitely always helped us, didn't it, Roxy? And we would talk about absolutely everything related to wedding dresses you could ever think of, and just kind of give them as much.
We would literally give them as much education about what we, you know, about wedding dresses, about appointments, about literally anything ever, just to, you know, make them feel informed. But it also, what it will do is, and what it will do is, it will build that rapport and that trust, and the people that are watching will get to know you, like you, and then trust you, which then, you know, is building those kind of ladders for them maybe booking your services in the future.
And this was always crazy. We used to get people coming to the shop, didn't they, who would, hi Katie, hi Roxy, hello, just because they'd seen us on video. Yeah, they felt that they knew us, and that helps anybody, especially if you're in a situation where the sale hasn't happened until you sit down and ask for it. They, before they even meet you, they already have a rapport with you, and you know, you can do that en masse, can't you? It's not a one-to-one situation. You can do that en masse to however many people are watching on social media, and it can be more than, you might have an audience of maybe only 50 people, or maybe a smaller audience, but it's more people than just who follow you on Facebook will be getting access to your video. We touched on a really good point, and it's gone, so I'll come back to it. We're going through so much. It's gone, but it'll definitely.
I was going to say, building on that, I've I can relate to both of your experiences actually, Katie, because I get that as well, because I've been doing similar to what you guys are doing with the Bridal Boutique and what you do now through sort of Twism and through your education side. I've been doing hints and tips videos for about 5 or 6 years, and for weddings and for training and for businesses and all the stuff that we do. And again, I'll be at a wedding fair and I'll meet someone and they'll say, oh, I think I've met you before. And I'll have almost like an instant connection with them.
Yes.
Where they'll feel like they know me and they'll book. And I'll think, I've never met that person before, but they've seen a video or seen my picture in the bridal magazine or something. And they see you and think they know you. And it's weird. It really works. I mean, some of your friends get annoyed seeing you on the timeline every minute.
You're not talking to those people though, are you? And this is what we all need to think about. Or, you know, my mum says I'm not very good at social media, or my sister. I know that will resonate with Roxy. Sorry guys, I'm losing my voice.
But they're not your market, are they? That's your point, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
that's not the target market.
My sister once said to me, we would go live for the bridal shop, 2-3 times a week. Every Friday we would do like a called hashtag Friday Friday, and I really miss that actually. But so like my sister, sorry if you're listening, Kay, she'd be like, oh, you know, I don't really like your Facebook live that you do on a Friday. And I just said, well, it's okay, it's fine, because you're not my target market. You're not getting back to more. You're married, so I'm not really bothered. But so you probably will experience not negative comments, but comments that might make you think, oh, maybe I won't do that again, because that could easily knock someone's confidence that isn't already feeling that confident about it. But just know that if you're educating, your target market, then those people are going to be watching that want to be watching. So,
and that brings me back to the point that I forgot earlier, is that what you do need to bear in mind is that people getting married, they don't know all of this stuff. So you might have been in your trade for 10, 15 years. You might be saying the same things over and over again, but you're doing that to new clients. And there are people out there getting married who are doing this for the first time, and they have no clue about, the style of neckline to wear, or what flowers are in season, or what a videographer can do and can't do. And they are just lost in this sea of information online, and they are looking, aren't they, for people to book and for that information. Now, if you are that person who is giving that information for free, willingly, across your social media, across your website, or you might do a video blog or a YouTube channel or whatever it is, it really quickly builds that rapport. Know you, like you, trust you. I mean, are they really going to get the style of personality that you are from just your website? Maybe a little bit, but instantly on a video, and you're not going to click with everybody, and that's okay, but instantly on a video, people are going to get whether they can work with you or you're somebody that they're not going to work with. And you'd rather at that point, rather than nurture that client into something that is never going to happen. They'll just instantly switch off, not for me, done. And that's okay. They're not the people that you're talking to, are you? So even if you get one person that gets something out of it that then turns into a booking, it's worth, doing, isn't it? And just getting over that slightly.
And just on your point then about, brides doing it for the first time, not knowing everything. I was one of those brides. And I couldn't put my hands on this information, but if there were videos out there, I would have sat and watched them and learned things, because I actually felt I wasn't informed enough. And I did put it down to the fact, and I thought, I don't know whether it was because I work in the industry anyway, but I just knew that, these businesses do this every day, so they just expect me to kind of know everything. But if we can be getting videos out there that are informative, educational, brides and grooms and people who are planning weddings will love that information, because they like to be informed. They like to feel like they've got the power in their hands.
No, I'd agree. That's led me on to something to talk about, if that's all right.
With
the two of you. So one of the things we often get asked about, and I know you both do as well, is probably SEO and the value of video in SEO, and everything you've both just been saying has kind of led me on to this point. So people always say, I know I need to be making a video, whether it's live, pre-recorded, whatever it might, whatever the format of the video, they know they should be doing it, and they've looked at the stats, and they can see people in their industry that are using video, and as you've both said, are giving away this advice, kind of, zooming ahead of them in business terms, and kind of profile and PR, and getting all these opportunities to speak and to do these different things that come with that. But their block is always, and I'm sure many people listening to this can relate to this, the block is always not knowing what to talk about. Like, there's almost too many things. Where do you start? Have you guys got any advice in terms of your content planning?
So the first thing I would say is that go back and have a look at the content that you've written. So we call this repurposing content. So have you written a blog or something in the past? Maybe you've seen something that somebody else has done even, and you think, I could talk on that point and add X, Y, and Z to that. So go back and have a little look at some of the blogs that you might have written in the past, or have a look at your subject knowledge. Another point is as well, you probably get asked the same sorts of questions from your couples over and over and over, and they make really good talking points, because if those couples keep on asking you about a particular point as to what you do, perhaps it could be I don't know, photography, and how long does it take to get my pictures, or maybe it could be there's thousands and thousands of subjects, isn't there? These make for great video content, or even great blog as well. And you were saying that about the SEO, is that people are going to be searching those terms. If they're asking you over and over and over for that information, that's going to be being searched for, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, one of our best performing blogs is entitled "How much does a wedding videographer cost?" UK ? That probably gets 50 hits a week, which I know doesn't sound a lot, but those are people looking for that product or that service and wanting to know what that costs. Obviously, price shopping isn't always the best customer for me because I'm expensive, but someone that's looking up cheap videographer is going to be very disappointed if they landed on my page. But someone that wants to know generally what the costs are, that would be a good blog, and that's a good video idea. But one thing I was going to suggest to everyone listening to this that works really well is to embed your video in your blog. So if you've got a blog, and as I think you were just saying, Katie, if you create a blog and then make a video about that blog, what I always suggest people do is sit the video on YouTube in the blog, so it gets double the SEO value. So I've found with my blogs, when I type in the name of my blog or my video, Google amalgamates the two. So your description of your blog actually has the video thumbnail in it, and that makes you more likely to want to click on it. So I would say, if you're stuck on ideas, go back and make videos about, as we've just said, about all your blogs, but then embed that video in that blog.
I think that's a really good tip,
because that will boost you exponentially, I would say.
Tip as well, because people, not everybody wants to read the content either, and if people can absorb that content through a video form, most people will do that now. I think we're more in tune now, aren't we, with I'm so sorry for people listening. I'm totally losing my voice.
That's right.
Oh, bless you.
Hopefully you're still understanding what I'm
saying.
See,
normally we get we lose our voices when we've done a lot of recording or a lot of Facebook lives and things like that. But no, probably hay fever.
It probably is hay fever, actually.
Quality is high at the minute, really high. But let's think about kind of some ideas of video content that people could kind of put out there. I know we just spoke about repurposing content.
I think one of the first ever ones I think that's really easy for people to get going with is just talking about why you got into your business and what your story is, what your business story is, why you've got a passion for what it is that you're doing. And you'll find actually that although it is normal for you to run a business, it is not the norm for everybody, and people are actually really interested in people that start businesses and why have you started that business. And especially with weddings, because weddings are so personal, because you know, it's all about the best day of their life. They want to give their money to people who they know are going to do a good job, but also who people that they can relate to. And like we said before, like and trust. Now, you build that like and trust factor really quickly on a video because people can see straight away whether you're somebody that could be connected to. And also that trust factor comes as well. The more you are showing up on social media, the more people have confidence in you to deliver whatever product it is, because they kind of feel like you're not going to just run off with their money. If you've got X amount of followers on social media, you're showing up every single week, you say you're showing up and you're going to show up at that time, it builds that trust really, really quickly. But back to the point I was saying, that people are really interested in people who start businesses and their why, and that really helps people decide whether you're the person they want to spend their money with, because they find part of your story really relatable. So that's probably one of the first ever videos we might have ever done.
I think it was, yeah.
Introduction to you, introduction to your business, and introduction to kind of what it is that you do and your why, if you like.
I think that's really important. I mean, when I'm doing my training workshops, that's basically the homework I set people to do before they come on the courses. You know, make a 2-minute or 1 minute short bit, write it down, make bullet points, just say who you are, what you're passionate about, as you say, why you started it, and what your values are, because I think people buy into values. So if you've got a really definable goal, so mine in Wedding Reel is, I don't just turn up and film your wedding, I educate you about wedding videography and weddings in general, because for most people it's their first time they've got married, and I want to help them on that journey. So I don't just take their money and see them on the day. You know, I'm there to help them, and that involves meeting them at least once, helping them with other things, recommending them to suppliers. Again, things like Twizzle are great because you can actually build up relationships with suppliers that you know, like and trust, that you can recommend, even if it's in a different part of the country. I think that's really powerful. So I'll often jump on, you know, someone looking for something in Manchester or whatever it might be, because I now know people from the different parts of the country. And going along to WedCon was actually great for that, because I got to meet people from all over the country. And one guy's success story, actually, I know it's not related to it, but it's a video thing. I met a chap called Adam at WedCon. 3 weeks later, we just hit it off, got on really well on the day, spent all day together. 3 weeks later, he was with me on a shoot in Liverpool with the Liverpool women's football team and AXA Insurance.
Crazy.
So good things can come from meeting,
from networking.
The power of networking.
Yeah, and video is kind of, as we've said, is like another way of doing that, really, and people do get a feel for your values. And you know, if it's a crowded marketplace, you're one of 50 florists in the area, what makes you different? Video, as you said, video number one is tell us about you, because people might relate to you because you go to yoga class, or you've got a horse, or you've got 2 small children, or whatever it might be. People buy into
and that's it. And I think it's that personal element, like you said there, that something that they can relate to, or they might like the fact that you're environmentally friendly, they might like the fact that you don't use any plastic in your business, or just the fact that you started your business because perhaps you had postnatal depression, or you want to be totally honest about the fact that you're a small business and people want to support somebody local, whatever it is. And this is something that we find that the wedding industry does quite a little bit, is they kind of try to make themselves seem much more of a bigger operation than what they are. And the wedding industry is never going to be department stores of faceless suppliers that you like going shopping on the high street or booking a holiday on the telephone. It's never going to be like that. It's always going to be about individuals and stories and personal connections. And yes, your website probably gives people a feel as to what you do, and potentially a little bit into your personality. Your social media probably gives a lot more of an idea about what you do, but are people really getting to know you in your business? And almost instantly people will get a connection with you on a video, and you'll be able to tell. And this is one of the things that my is a stumbling block to get over, and we'll give you some tips about this in a second, is that people normally in the first 20 seconds ish, isn't it, James, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but in the first kind of 20 seconds will kind of get a feel as to whether they want to continue watching you or whether this isn't for me.
I think this is one of my favourite things actually about a video or kind of any kind of recording, is you can inject your own personality in there. It's much more personal than your website, like Katie was just saying. Probably get a little tiny feel for your personality, but the best way to know if you're going to like someone is, you know, by like watching them, listening to them, talking to them. And that's what I do love about a live, is that you can be yourself, you can show who you are, and then your kind of viewers who are watching will instantly know kind of, yeah, this person's for me, or okay, then maybe not this person, but that's equally fine because not everybody is your target market, right?
That's really true, actually. That's a good point. I mean, they say when you meet someone, you make your mind up about whether you like them or not in about 6 seconds. So yeah, I think when you're watching a video, you've got a little bit longer to gauge because you're not with them, but you can read. You're reading like body language. You're looking at all kinds of like signs. It's basically goes back to when we were kind of Neanderthals and we had to decide whether we had to punch someone or hug them, and whether we wanted to, you know, do you want to be friends with them, or do you want to eat them for your lunch, or do you need to beat them up? You know, it's as basic as that, and we're giving off all these signals to people to say, you know, gravitate towards me, or, you know, even like folding your arms and stuff like that. You know,
I think even now, and obviously we're recording this in lockdown now, and we're not going to be in lockdown for forever. So if you're listening to this in the future,
congratulations,
you made it.
We can go outside. But now more than ever, I think, well, number one, people are looking to their phones for entertainment and are soaking up entertainment in a different kind of way and are watching a lot more stuff. Hashtag Netflix life. But now is a great time to kind of get on this. Instagram stories were up 80% last month. April stats on March stats, because people are scrolling through their phones and video a lot more. A couple of tips, and I'm sure, James, you've got hundreds and hundreds and thousands, but a couple of tips that we've kind of found, especially with that content. You know, we said about repurposing content in terms of maybe turning a blog into a video, but remember that your target market has a lifespan of being your customer. So there are videos that you might have recorded 12 months ago, even 6 months ago, that you can put out again. And you've probably got more to say on the topic now than you did 6 months ago, or maybe trends in the industry have changed, or there is something additional that you can just add on to the subject that you didn't add on before. It's not going to be the same people that are watching that video 18 months on, because their likelihood is that they've already got married and they're not, even though they haven't unfollowed you on social media, they just won't be seeing your content anymore because they won't be engaging with it anymore. They'll have gone on to, you know, career and babies and buying houses and that sort of stuff, and that's the content that they're going to be absorbing. So have a think about some of the stuff that you might have done 6 months ago, and this is something that we would do quite a lot, wouldn't we, Roxy? We would kind of go back and think, right, we can repurpose that, and we can add on to that a little bit now. Something that I see not done enough is caption your video, and this is wherever you are doing it, and I'm sure it's probably, James, really good for SEO. But the reason that I would say it would be really important is because people will instantly know whether they want to watch it or don't want to watch it, what you're going to be talking about, and whether that piques their interest or not.
It's so important. I mean, 80% of people watch or scroll through their timeline on social media with the sound off by default. So if you don't have subtitles, they're not aware of what you're saying. Yeah, ditto. I think we all do that, unless you're sitting somewhere where you can have the volume up. You're at home, you know, a lot of the time we're just on the train or whatever we're doing, having a quick look, going, oh, that's interesting, Barry's done that and Susan's made a cake or whatever it might be. But you're not watching it with the sound on, are you? So you need those subtitles. So whether you do it captioned on a live video and you just hope that it gets it right, it doesn't always get it right, or you add it in if it's pre-recorded. Every bit of content we put out now that's, you know, educational type stuff that we record has subtitles, but even down to the subtitles are in our brand font. So the font that makes up the HNE Media logo is the font that we use for the subtitles. So everything, people are watching it probably going, oh, that looks nice, but they're not realising why it looks so good. It's because
what program do you use to do that, James? Because we don't subtitle our videos.
We do. There's so many different ones out there, but we use Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a monthly license package, and again, you can do subtitles on there. Another one we've got into recently is DaVinci Resolve, which is actually a free program. So if anyone's listening to this and you want to get into editing, but you don't necessarily want to jump in and spend £20 a month on a package, DaVinci Resolve has a free version, and they can download that. Again, I don't know where we can put the link in the podcast for people that want that, but we've created an online training course teaching people how to edit using that and the Adobe one. So it's a really good, they're both really good packages, but I'd say you definitely, as you both touched on, you've got to be putting subtitles on it. I'll be honest, it can take a while, but it's well worth it. When we charge it to clients, we say it takes about half an hour to do 1 minute of footage in terms of going through, working out what's being said, typing it, checking it for errors, lining it up so it appears on the screen exactly as they say those words, and then it disappears and the next bit comes on. So yeah, as a kind of guiding rule, we reckon about, you know, a 2 minute video will take an hour to manually subtitle, but
Roxy, what was that program? What was that?
Is it Revit?
Yeah,
yeah. So there are free, well, not free, but there are low cost packages that will do it for you. You just have to go in and check it's not got it wrong, because it's computer.
We tried it out. So we recorded a piece of course content, and what we were going to do is put that out into a book. And we just tried, I think, a 2 minute.
Yeah.
And it cost about $12,
yeah,
£6 or whatever, but it did save us having to kind of go and actually the accuracy on it was really good.
It was quite good. I suppose, like anything, you know, if you are going to do it yourself, you're going to sit and manually do it. Like anything in life, the more you do it, the easier it's going to become, and the quicker you're going to be able to do it.
My half an hour per minute is based on Alex and Sam, who work with me, who are like masters at this. You know, people always say to me, how long is a video going to take to edit? And I said, look, it'll take me an hour. It could take you a day. And they go, oh, that 60 quid suddenly seems a better investment than that hour of my time.
It would take me a long time, because I'm quite guilty of, even when I do a social media post, I type so fast that there is always a typo of some sort. I'm like, why didn't I just slow down and just check it the first time?
Makes it more human in a way, though, doesn't it?
It is frustrating. Errors. I'm like, there's another typo. Or Katie will be like, Roxy, there's a typo. I'm like,
But depending on the platform, you can go in and edit it, can't you? But not all platforms, like Twitter, once it's gone out, it's gone.
Yeah, once it's there, it's
Facebook, you can go, it's riddled with typos, right?
Edit.
Go. Oh, I've written something I didn't mean to there. Get rid of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't do that on all ones. And as you say, with a live video, whether it's, you know, Facebook Live or Instagram, whatever you're using, once it's gone out, it's gone out. But if you really don't like it, just press delete.
Bin it off.
And it's gone, you know, there's no worry. Someone was saying to me the other day, this might be interesting for as a sort of general point, that if you're worried about going live, but you want to test it, you can, there's an option where you can, I think I may have read this on your course actually.
I think it was my little thing that I put that out there.
You can just restrict who sees it. It was your thing, wasn't it, Rob?
Yeah, so what you can do is, it's only on Facebook, it's not on any other platform that I've known yet, but so when you go live, you just change your privacy settings to only me. Literally, you can go live to just you can sit, get a feel for everything, work out what, you know, the interface is, everything, have a little play with the filters, get yourself comfortable with it, and then, you know, it's a way of having a little practice before actually going live, and then you can just kind of bin it off after. But yeah, I
think it's a great thing, that, and also I'm working on a project for a client at the moment, and we're going to be doing live various live things, and I created a private Facebook group, so her and I could actually test what we're doing. And she said, oh, and she rang me and went, oh, can anyone see this? I said, well, no, it's a private group that you and I are in. No one else can see
Brilliant.
what I'm sharing. She was worried I was going to give away the game of what we were working on. I said, no. So again, that might be something to...
I think although they are good, it's sometimes almost easier when you get a little bit of interaction from people. So maybe instead of just kind of going live to just only me, like you said, go live to a trusted few people. So in the settings, the same way that you can go live to just you can restrict that down to maybe 4 or 5 friends, or maybe
or a group,
colleagues, or a group. So potentially you want to just practice it out in one of the twizzing groups and just give it kind of a go. But I know Roxy finds this, but kind of bouncing and getting that feedback from the audience really helps kind of keep the flow going as well. And that's a tip in itself, is to interact with the people who are watching your videos. It makes them feel appreciated. It makes them feel like you're listening to them, and you know, you almost know them a little bit. And it tells you on screen who's commented, who's hit like, who's watching. So just say a quick hello. And they're good for gap fillers as well. So if you're struggling to think about what to kind of say, just say, oh, hi, Sarah, thanks for watching. What are you up to today? Let me know in the comments. Or
when's your wedding, or just things that are going to get that conversation flowing. Quite a lot of things that kind of we're speaking about today, I've actually put together a how to be a pro at going live. I put like a little document together, and I'll put the link to that in the show notes just so you can go and check that out. James, what are your kind of top 3 tips for going live, doing videos for someone that's never done them before?
I would say number 1, just do it, because most people just put it off, and you'll both know this, you know, before you did your first ever live video a long time ago, or any kind of video, you were probably both quite nervous, weren't you? I know I was. It took me a long time to go from being in my comfortable position behind the camera asking the questions to suddenly being the presenter. You know, it's not what most people are comfortable doing. So I would say, just as easy as it is for me to say it, just give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? So that'd be tip number 1. Tip 2 is be yourself. You know, there's no point being someone that you're not, because it will be disingenuous when people do meet you. So some people say, oh, be a much more animated version of yourself online, but I actually disagree. I think if you come across as almost like an actor, when they do meet you, it's going to undo all the good work that you've done. So I would say it's really important to be a true reflection of yourself, rather than the version of you on acid. You know, that's great for getting people to watch, but if you want them to then go on to trust you and kind of work with you in the future, hopefully that could be disingenuous and might not help that. And then the 3rd tip, I guess, just try and make your videos look as good as they can. I'm about to do a blog and a video on the importance of videos looking good if you offer a high quality product or service. So one thing I see a lot is really high-end companies that have made their own really rubbish videos, and actually you're undoing all the good work of your brand. So you know, it's great to do regular content, but just make sure it's, you know, of a standard,
at a certain level.
Yeah. So the classic one is, it's not wedding related, but solicitors charge upwards of hundreds of pounds an hour for their professional advice, and cobble together a video on their iPhone to market their practice. And I have to go and see the marketing manager and explain why that's not a good idea, without sounding like I'm trying to sell them my services. I'm just saying it undoes your 50 years of good reputation. And I read a stat the other day, it said like something like 76% of people will actively disengage with a brand or company if they put out rubbish videos, because if they've already got that trust and then they whip that trust away by saying, well, I don't care, I'm just going to make rubbish videos and put them out, that kind of undoes all the good work. So I'd say think about
And I
the
think
way you present
that
yourself.
on that point, it doesn't have to cost, a lot of money to get
No.
equipment to, to make them look a bit more professional.
No.
I remember, so for the bridal shop, me and Katie, we used to just use a mobile phone, which is fine because, cameras are quite good nowadays, but we'd prop it up on remember the pen pot, Katie?
We prop it up in a pen pot on a plant.
And the amount of times that it's fallen over, pens have gone everywhere. We've been in
ditches of laughter.
It makes me laugh now thinking about it.
I don't think it ever hurt Ab.
No.
Who knows? It could have done.
I mean, I would say it's more for really high-end companies. When you're paying them hundreds of
pounds
an
James?
hour.
What are you saying?
Or if you're going to the Randolph Hotel or something really mega up there, they're often the ones that cut corners. And I think for everyday businesses where people are buying into people, that's okay. But it's more your solicitors.
I think it warms people. It does warm people to you. I think the thing to note as well is that when people click to watch more of your video, obviously on their timeline it'll stream and it'll see that you're on a video, maybe on a live stream or maybe you recorded it early on in the day. Not just the people who are watching on your live stream will catch that, by the way. Facebook and Instagram will continue to show it to other people, way past the point of you being live. But when people click on your video to continue to watch it, it counts as engagement. So try not to just kind of wrap your video up in as quick of a time as you can. And that can be really easy to kind of fall into the trap of wanting to get it finished as quickly as possible. But if people are engaging with your video, hitting like, hitting watch more, maybe you put something out on Instagram and you go longer than the kind of 30 seconds and continue it over on Instagram TV. This all counts as engagement for your social media and tells social media to keep showing your content to those people because they are engaging with your stuff. Now, we got to a level in our shop where we would have 10,000 viewers streaming live alongside whatever we were doing. So it got to a level where we were
it got to the level where I remember saying, maybe I should start thinking about what I'm wearing.
What makeup am I putting on today? And we've got some tips for that. Go and share your video everywhere. Don't just keep it to your Facebook page.
We would share it in every kind of selling group out there. Literally, share. Don't get put in Facebook jail by doing it too much. But
it's about sharing it to those communities that are going to find whatever you say interesting. So there's no point going on and talking about weddings and then sharing it into your local selling page where people are selling, I don't know, the hot tubs and the vases from the house. There's no point sharing it into the group where people are talking about dogs. It's about sharing it to people who are going to be interested in what it is that you're going to be saying. And also repurposing it, taking it over to Instagram, putting it on Instagram TV. Do your videos have to be under 15 minutes for Instagram TV? I think it's about 15 minutes. So, no, up to an hour, I think it is. But have a play around with that. If you can put it over on Instagram, that's another day's worth of content you can get out there. And then, like James was saying, get it on your blog as well, or embed it onto your website so that it's found in all of these different places as well.
I mean, building on your point, we talked about if you're getting the engagement, keep the video going. Facebook, the algorithm rewards you for making videos that are 3 minutes or longer. So if you are doing a live, try and do it for at least 3 minutes. And as you were saying, if you're getting that engagement, Facebook is going to reward you for keeping that going and interacting with those people. But I loved your point about sharing it in all the groups, because that's what I do with my videos and put them in the groups.
Another thing is as well is think about your client. So don't think about you. And I know that's getting real, and the amount of times when we look over people's social media pages, we have to tell people this isn't about you, it's about your client. But think about your client's day. So this might mean that your typical working day starts from 9 till 5. And ideally you would put a video out in your working hours. However, maybe your ideal client works the full day as well. Are they going to be sat on Facebook or Instagram, or have they got the best chance of watching your video during those hours? No, they probably don't, because they work also. Now, our ideal client, most of them didn't work, did they, Roxy? And we found a really good time, and you can have a look at your insights over on Facebook and on Instagram as well, to the best sort of time as to when you're getting engagement on your Facebook and when people are engaging with your content. That will give you a really good idea, an inclination as to the best time to kind of go live. But play around with it, and also be open to the fact that you might have to hop on a live at 7 p.m. at night, because that is the best time that you're going to get that engagement from your ideal client. Because there's no point, there's lots of people that kind of go live and think, oh, well, I've tried that and I've got 4 viewers. And actually, it's about peeling those layers back a little bit more and thinking, was actually that the best time for you to go live on that particular day at 9 in the morning, because of people not driving to work at 9 in the morning? So just really having to think about that kind of timing of your videos as well.
I think that's really important, and also consistency. So if you do your video every Thursday at 7 in the evening, people will get to know that and expect it. Again, like with your podcasts, I guess you put them out on a day, you know people are expecting that. That's like your favourite TV programme is on Tuesday, you'll know that you either want to watch it as it happens, or you'll set it to record, or you'll watch it on demand and stream it later, but you'll know that thing happens on that day. And I think if you're doing your lives and you're putting content out, that's a good strategy as well. Just do it, but keep it consistent, whether it's once a week, once a day, once a month, twice a year, I don't know, whatever it is. Just keep it consistent, and tell people when you're going to go live as well. I guess that's important, isn't it, to say, so there is live on this day.
There is a website called Be Live. So we used to use it with the bridal shop. Not used it in a while, so it might have an update, or might be even better than it was. But you could schedule your lives in, and then it also, which I think is fantastic, notifies every single liker on your page that you are going to go live. I mean, it's
on Friday at 8 p.m. So it tells people from the point of when you schedule it, when it is that you're going to go live. And then doesn't it give them a reminder like 5 minutes before? Yeah,
I think it does. I mean, that's just amazing.
People are nosy. Like what we said earlier, as your neighbour up the road, or that mum that doesn't talk to you on the school run, or your sister will watch it because they're just being nosy. But that is the same for your client as well. And you might find that people stumble across your video, think, no, never heard of you before, or I've seen a few bits of your stuff, but they're just, bored, I don't know, between Coronation Street ad break or whatever. And then that turns into nurturing a relationship into a sale further down the line. But that's a point to kind of make, is that people are just nosy, and getting that notification to their device that you're going to go live usually is enough to spark their interest for them to come and have a little look. And then when they've had a look, it's then up to you to kind of keep that engagement going and keep that keep their interest and pique their interest at that point. But it is great, actually, and I always say that it's the best time now to market your business, and it's probably the cheapest time to market your business, because everybody gets a vibration, or you've seen it on Instagram, it pops up, there's no flipping escaping it on Instagram, it comes up a third of your screen, so and so is live. Like, it's easy to hit them by accident.
All the time I hit it, I'm like, no, I didn't mean to press that.
But it just goes to show, like, the social medias are really gearing towards video as a way to engage. Like, Instagram have given you a whole tab now dedicated to Instagram TV. If that's not telling you that you want to get ahead of the trend and get ahead of everybody else jumping on Instagram TV, I don't know what could tell you. So you've got 3 sections on Instagram now. One section will be your feed, one section will be the stuff that people are tagging you in, and the third will be all of your video content. Instagram wants you to be using video. Facebook wants you to be using video. So now's the time to start. If you've not kind of done it before, we said earlier, you've spent 15 years in your business and you've never had to use video before. And if that's working for you, amazing. And if you're exactly where you want to be in your business and that's working for you, amazing. But if you feel like there could be an easier way, and this is, we don't tell you this to brag, or we don't tell you this to like make you go and do something that we don't know works. We would know if we had a quiet week in the shop coming up, or a quiet month in the shop coming up, we needed to up our video content. And we always used to really come away with one appointment in the diary at the end of a video.
And the phone ringing, 100%.
And the phone ringing. And it was about giving the people, obviously, the information to get in touch and inviting them to get in touch with us. But if we were ever quiet in the diary, we knew that what we needed to be doing was
100%
jumping on video.
Yeah, I think it's really, really powerful. Well, I would say it's really powerful. It's my business, but it is really powerful. You're both a really good example of how powerful it can be for the bridal boutique and the stuff you're doing now, really. And online training is a huge element. So a lot of people, I think the lockdown, the isolation period has made a lot of people realise, actually, I need an online version of whatever it is that I do, whether it be a yoga class or learning phonics or whatever it might be. A lot of people are getting into making that content. So if you are a bit down in terms of customers and you've got less to do, make some videos, make an online course. I think utilise the time you've got, because you'll have assets in the future that make you a passive income. People come to my shop every day and buy stuff. I know they do with yours. And you get new subscribers all the time, and you only have to make that thing once and they'll come back to you, and new people will buy it and subscribe to it all the time. So it's something you do once that's working for you in the background, like owning a property and renting it out. It's the digital version of that.
It's funny that you talked about this. People that have listened to our last podcast, the one before this, we spoke about this in our last podcast. People who've been kind of following us this week in the group will know that we've spoke a lot about this and a lot about passive income in the minute. Like you said, people are kind of trying to plug the gaps in their business at the minute with what we're currently going through with the lockdown. We've got lots and lots of stuff coming up about that. But what I will say about video is that it gets easier the more that you do it. And it's, like you said, one of your tips was just do it. It can be really hard, can't it? And you can talk yourself into almost out of doing something by overthinking it, maybe writing a script. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't. No. Live video does not need to be perfect. I mean, if you were putting something out on a course, you would want it to be a little bit more professional, a little bit more structured, because you've got paid for, people are paying for that content. But in terms of a video, think of what is the reason that you're doing this video. The video, you're doing it to create a relationship with people. People want to see that you're human, and like we said before, we've fell over, we've laughed, Roxy snorted on video, but it makes you more human to people. And people do, like we said, come into the shop, hi girls, and we found that at WedCon, didn't we?
It was strange.
Oh my god, WedCon felt like we were the teachers, and hi Miss, hi Katie, and I was just because we don't know all of you, but
you know all of us. But it just shows strange
how powerful it is that people feel that they already know you. People have no problems coming up and saying hi and letting us know what they did in their business, because they've seen 2, 3, 4, 5 videos that we've kind of done and already feel like they've got a relationship with us. Is there anything else kind of that we can kind of add here?
I was going to, touch on a few kind of, just a couple of little tips that I've probably learned along the way, because I don't know, probably a lot of you might know, some might not know, that not always had the highest amount of confidence, had a stutter terribly when I was growing up, although probably not that apparent now, but still in the back of my head. So I've probably been doing videos and live videos, 6, maybe 7 years now, probably something like that. I still do remember the first time Katie was like, right, so live videos are going to be this big thing, this is in the bridal shop. I was like, oh my life, no. But so my biggest tip, and this is going to be probably a little bit of a strange one actually, is you've just got to fake it till you make it. And that is honestly, if you are not feeling very confident, or even you've not had the best morning, or whatever reason, you just don't want to do this live, you just have to push all that to the back of your mind and say, no, like, just project this confidence, and after a few videos it will become easier. I don't know, like James is nodding along there like, yeah. Is that something you would say as well?
Yeah, no, I'd echo that, really. So the reason I don't always talk back to you guys is I'm so ingrained in interviewing people off camera and not making a noise, so it gets picked up, that you'll just see me nodding along like
that's all right.
And people find it really disconcerting. And they're like, I don't think he's listening. I am listening. I'm just normally I'm thinking about the next question, or going, that's a good point, but nodding and not going, aha, because I'm editing a lot of stuff for people at the moment that they've obviously filmed themselves that I'm not able to go out and film. And when I'm editing up interviews, all I've got is the interviewer going, aha, good point, and then cutting over the other person, and it's an absolute nightmare to edit them out. So I just nod along in the background like a madman, which doesn't work on a podcast because you can't see our faces. But no, everything you said was very true.
So then kind of the second thing I would say is surround yourself with confident, chatty people, because it rubs off on you. Let me tell you, working with, I don't know if actually you are there when I'm pointing there, working with Katie, it's had like a massive impact on my confidence, and like in an amazing way. So it has. I mean, look, when I first met you, I'd been a stay-at-home mum for a good few years, so you know what it's like. We've been a stay-at-home parent. You almost feel like a shell of yourself a little bit, and then actually realise that, I am a person again. But surround yourself with confident people. Talk to people, even in just your day-to-day life. Get used to talking to the lady at the checkout, having a bit of an extra conversation with a school mum. Try and get yourself out there a little bit, and then it's not so hard on a live, because you've already building your confidence up in that kind of way. So they're kind of my two top tips. I don't know if you've got anything to add to that, Katie.
I don't know, I think we've covered quite a lot, haven't we?
Yeah.
Especially those people that kind of maybe that little bit more introverted and don't feel like, I mean, you can always possibly, maybe the final point to kind of say is, although yes, ideally it'd be great if you would hop on camera, show yourself, to just maybe get into it if you're thinking this is giving me the worst anxiety in the world. Do a behind the scenes video, so stay the other side of the camera perhaps, and maybe show your workspace, or a process in your video, in your business, maybe yourself doing beautiful calligraphy, or putting a bouquet together, or putting a pocket fold invitation together, whatever it is. But maybe that'll build up that bit of confidence that, so you don't necessarily have to be on video. I did a live video yesterday. My kids were absolutely bloody awful through the video.
I loved it.
Guess what? That's flipping relatable at the minute, because we're all homeschooling our children, and our kids are killing each other. And the funny thing was, actually, I literally just said, "Oh, they've been really good," and then in they came screaming at each other, and I was like, and everybody had to see me tell my children off. But there we go. It's not going to be worse than that, guys. That's all I can say.
At least you went on national telly. I mean, that seems to be happening a lot, doesn't it, on national TV programs?
Yeah, like the kid crawl. But
great.
It is relatable at the minute. Like, we're all finding a new normal in balancing work life with our children.
And I think, if anything, does that not make you stick in that person's mind? Like, we all know of the, on the TV interview in the news where the kids come in the background and then the nanny takes them back out. Like, we all remember that kind of interview. So it's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to, like, we're always talking about imperfect actions, and doing a live video is an example of one of those imperfect actions. It's fine. It's okay if, like, the kids are coming in, or social media is so quick that it's done with. No one is going to be thinking too much about your video 20-30 minutes after it's happened, unless they want to book with you, and that'll be because you've made a good impact on them. But if it goes horrendously wrong, if you're 2 minutes in and no one's watching and you're stumbling over your words,
just stop and delete it and think, you know what, I'm going to go again tomorrow. And that's all we can do, isn't it? But it is important to be kind of showing up, being visible, and getting what it is that you do out there, and getting that passion for what you do out there as well.
I think it's really important. I mean, I think the one thing for everyone to take away is kind of a closing note on all of this is just get on and do it. It does, as we say, you don't have to be perfect. You can be, we're all human, you know, we all make mistakes, you know, things happen in the background, you know, the phone falls over. Just get on and do it. I mean, I remember the first videos I did back in 2014. I look at those versus what we're doing now, and it's completely changed in terms of, like, we've just got a system down for doing it, and I can rattle a video out that's 2 minutes long in about 5 minutes because I've got a system in place. So I just say to everyone, just get on and do the first one, and it will grow from there. And if you really hate it, find other ways, as we've said, to get other people in, interview your customers, get them to say how great you are. If you really hate being on the camera, get your colleagues, if you've got a team or you've got a business partner, get them to do it. You know, get other people to say how.
That's what we used to do in the bridal shop, because we had like a few like younger girls that used to work, and they used to hate it, didn't they? It was like, you're not used to it, it's okay.
Do it.
If they want their job, they'll have to keep doing it. So if you want to keep working on Saturdays, you've got to do videos.
Thank you for joining us today, James. We'll leave it there, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.